Hey, this is Deep Dark Yoga, doom metal, and some pretty gentle yoga stuff just to move the body, get a little stronger, a little more flexible, hopefully feel like a total badass, because you are. I'm April Fox, and I'm going to do some poses today where if you have yoga blocks, you're going to want to grab them. If you don't have yoga blocks, like I didn't have them for the longest time, go grab something about that size that you can use just to make your arms longer. Or at some point you might want to go put your hands on your coffee table or something. I've used like a beer growler or a protein powder jug. Really, just make it up, grab something, and see if that's going to help you out. You'll also, of course, be fine without it. It works. Okay, go ahead, hit like and subscribe, because this video is going to be badass and you are too, and I think you're going to want to come back to this practice and help a whole bunch of people find us, so thank you so much for that. And if you want to join us live, we do this on Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and you can find all of the detail right below. So glad you're here. It's good to see your face. I've been reading this book on seeing others deeply and being seen, how to know a person, and it's really interesting, a lot of the things that are presented about like tools to get to know folks better. And one thing that I really, really love is the importance of asking more questions. There was this section in here where a teacher was trying to teach her students how to interview, and they're like, you can just ask me anything. And they asked her, are you married? And she said no. And I'm amazed at the depth that these kids got into right away, because I think most kids would just like ask a different question, like, do you have kids? Do you have pets? These kids are like, well, are you divorced? And she said yes. And they said, do you still love him? And she just starts to choke up inside, and then they're like, does he know? Like, how incredibly deep that got by just asking more questions and having that commitment to knowing more deeply has such a different level, right? And I think, like, I know I'm really guilty of this myself. I tend to like kind of want to keep a comfortable distance, especially when just getting to know someone or in certain circumstances, because it's scary to get really deep. But there's something really powerful with that when we ask more questions. And of course it works internally too, right? Like the more we ask questions of ourselves and our experience, the more authentically we know and we understand ourselves and what's going on. And I think we owe that to ourselves. Like, you deserve to have a beautiful connection with you. Absolutely. So let's dive into a lot of those questions. We'll start with some face brushing. So index finger and thumb together, bringing the squishy spot at the bottom of your thumb to brush outwards on your forehead. And then from the sides of your nose out to your temples. From your temples down to your chin. And the sides of your nose down to your chin, along your laugh lines. And taking your fingertips underneath and behind your ears, massaging that space. Also lifting up a little longer through your neck. And then resting your hands down in your lap. Letting your eyes close, finding softness in the muscles of your face. Beginning a steady flow of deep and long inhales and exhales. And start asking yourself some questions. How am I feeling today? What is there in my body that I might want to pay special attention to? What would I like to focus on during this practice? What am I hoping to get out of it? Deep breath in through your nose. Let the exhale out through your mouth. And again like that. 3 ohms. Setting your right hand down at your right side, take your left arm and stretch it up. Take some big breaths that open up through the left side of your ribs. Let out one more exhale. And then move to the other side, setting your hand down, reaching up and feeling the right side of your ribs expand and soften. One more exhale. And then bring your right hand down to the ground. This time reach your left arm out to the left and relax your right ear down towards your shoulder. Slowly relaxing that chin down towards your chest and moving to the other side, setting the left hand down, reaching the right arm out. Keep dropping that left ear down. Rolling the chin down to the chest, bringing yourself up through the center. We're going to take the right leg out to the right. I'm really struggling with my right and left today. And take a little twist over towards the left. And then leave your right hand at your left knee, and then reach the right arm up in the air. Breath out, and then switch sides, sending the other leg out. Start with a twist. Try not to lean back. You want to leave your heart above your hips. And we'll hold onto the right knee with the left hand. Send the left arm up, but maybe over a little bit in the back. I'm really struggling with these right and left today. One more exhale. And then coming back to the center, go ahead and fold the legs back in again. We'll take a twist over towards the right, and then take your right arm, your back arm, reach it up, and cross it over. And that'll take you into a twist to the other side. You'll take the bottom arm out, reach it up, and as you exhale, cross it over. As you inhale, take that bottom arm out, lift it up, exhale, cross it over. And keep moving in that pathway. Take 2 more on each side. Excuse me. And then coming on out of that, and we'll come down onto our backs when you're ready. Hey, excuse you, quiet. Please. Thank you. So come down and bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. And then setting your feet down. We'll bring the arms down by your sides. Wiggle your shoulders under your back. Come up into a bridge pose. It probably won't be very high. It's kind of early in the practice. We'll do a couple. Take one more breath in, and then lowering your hips down, just to give a little rest before we go up again. And maybe you can wiggle your shoulders under a little bit more this time, maybe even holding hands with yourself. And then feel your inner thigh muscles pull up into your pelvis, and probably your hips lifted just a little bit extra with that. Relaxing your shoulders, releasing your hips down. We'll do just one more. And again, probably not the biggest bridge pose you've ever done, but still feeling that we can open the heart and really lift it up. Wiggle those shoulders underneath. Squeeze those inner thighs upwards towards the pelvis, like you're sliding the muscles up into your pelvic area. And on your exhale, lower the hips back down. Bring your knees into your chest. Opening your arms and rolling your knees over towards the right side. Let your left shoulder open. Sometimes you press into the back of the right arm to wiggle the ribs more open to the left. One more breath out. And move your knees over to the other side. And probably there's a little extra wiggling of the rib cage here so that the right shoulder is more open, more relaxed. If not on the floor, in the direction of the floor. Finding a way to position your arms so your shoulders don't feel tight. Letting the body be at ease here. More breath out. Coming back to the center, wrap yourself up to find your hands and knees, table pose. I'll start with the right foot outside of the right hand, so swinging it up. Move your knee and toe out to the right side, so we turn the leg out. The left hand goes more forward, the hips go more forward. Reach your right arm up and back. Try rotating the palm to face up so your heart is as open as possible. Strong in the left hand. If you want to reach back and grab your back foot, that's an option, but not a necessity. You could, but you don't need to. One more exhale. And go ahead and, if you had the foot, release it. We're going to pull the right foot back a couple inches, maybe a foot, and then come down to sit on the left hip. And you might have to move that right foot again. It doesn't always land where you wanted it to be. My left hand is about a foot away from my hip, and I'm just going to sit into that. I'm letting that left side of the ribs drop down. That thing I always say don't do, this being the exception. One more exhale. And then start rolling back on your seat. And you'll still have the right leg crossed over. Lift your left toes. Hold on to that right leg and twist towards it. Softening your belly. One more exhale. And then release that twist. Release the right leg. Twist to the left just a little bit. Just a gentle counter, and then we'll swing the legs back and come back into a table pose. And then you'll take your left foot forward. Sometimes I face different ways just because I want to be able to face you. It doesn't matter which end you end up at. We'll turn the left knee and toe out. Bring the right hand forward, the hips forward, and then the left arm stretches up and back. Roll the shoulder back. Try turning the palm to face up, inviting that expansiveness across your heart. You might catch the back foot. You might decide that's not necessary or reasonable for your body. One more exhale. If you had a bind, release it. You're going to pull that left foot back and then come to sit down on your right hip. You might need to adjust the left foot more, maybe not as much this time. And if you're sitting back on the squishy part of your butt, you're not going to feel it right here. So you need to move that top hip forward, and then you start to feel that area. I call it the side pants, getting stretched out, letting body kind of sink down into that right side. One more breath out. And start to lean all the way back to your bum. Maybe scooch around a little bit, but you still got that left leg on top. We'll hug onto it with the left hand behind, lift hard up above the hips, and twist over towards the left side. One more exhale. And release the leg, release the twist. Take a little twist over to the right. And then swing the legs back behind you and come up onto hands and knees into a table pose. You might have blocks around. You might want to have those up by your hands. We're going to start with the right foot forward, this time in between the hands. And we're going to move, if you have hands up on blocks or elevated a bit, it will tend to make this a lot more comfortable. We're going to move from a lunge on the inhale to a straight-ish leg on the exhale. If it gets straight, fine. If it doesn't, then just straight-ish. And inhale, coming forward. And exhale, straight-ish the leg. And do this a few more times. The last time you end up with a straight or straight-ish leg hang out there, probably you will feel most comfortable at the highest setting of blocks. Or maybe now's the time where you grab them. If you feel like your hips are kind of back behind you or you're back behind your knee, you're going to need to bring the front foot forward. Your right hip is probably lifting up. We're going to try to lift the heart and drop the right hip down. Feel less crunchy on the right side of the waist now. Take another 2 long, deep breaths here. Feel a gentle lift of the heart. Then we're going to bend into the right leg again. I pulled my foot back a bit. You might lower the setting of the block. They're a little sturdier when they're lower. We're going to curl the back toes under and lift the back knee. And then lift at your inner thigh muscles so your hips are a little bit higher and look to the right. If that's feeling good, try taking your right arm up in the air. We'll just take 2 breaths. Go ahead and relax the hands down. Gently lower your left knee and we'll switch sides, taking the right foot forward. Maybe you find blocks for your hands to make your arms longer. We'll let an inhale bring us forward into the lunge. And an exhale to shift the hips back. Yeah, I need to move my foot forward. Inhale, moving forward. Exhale, pulling back. Do that a couple more times. Once more. And from here, you might decide to move the blocks up onto a higher setting, and that's going to give you a little more space to lift your heart up. Relax your left hip down, away from your left armpit. Breathe here. How much more can I keep lifting my heart up and forward? One more exhale. And then bend back into that front knee, probably feeling better on a slightly lower setting of the block, just because it's more stable. We'll curl the right toes under, lift that back knee, and then feel the inner thigh muscles like they're pulling up towards the pelvis now, right in the center. Feel your hips lift. Looking over towards the left, maybe lifting your left arm up. 2 breaths. Bringing both hands down, gently lowering that right knee, pulling the left leg back. Might have to scooch the blocks out of the way. We'll come all the way down onto our bellies. And extend your right arm out to the right with the palm down, just right out from your shoulder. The left hand comes in by the left shoulder. And then as you relax your head down, look to the left and roll the left leg back away from the floor. Expanding a stretch along the right side of the chest. Start to roll yourself over onto your belly. Your right hand comes in, the left arm goes out, rolling the right leg back. At the end of your exhale, roll back to your belly. Stretch your arms back behind you. You might interlace your fingers. We'll lift up into a locust pose. Only so high that you can breathe with ease, however easy it could possibly be in this position. On your exhale, let it go. Bring your hands in. Push yourself back to child's pose. If it feels better to bring the hands in closer, then you're welcome to. Otherwise, extend those arms out long. Maybe you crawl the fingertips out a little longer, feeling some extra traction along the spine. Then start to lift yourself back up to all fours. Last thing on the knees. Slide your left hand behind your right arm so you come down to rest on your left shoulder. You're welcome to stay here. I like to come to fingertips, but that's just me. You might, and you don't have to, but you might kick your right foot out by your left hand. One more exhale. And you'll pull the right knee back in. Plant your right hand in front of your face so you can support lifting out and planting the left hand down. And then you'll go to the other side. I'm too close to the wall. So, sliding the right hand just behind the left hand. You might come to left fingertips. You might, and you might not, kick the left foot out by the right hand. One more exhale. Then pulling your left knee back in, planting the left hand down, unwinding and planting your right hand on the floor, then curl the toes and press back to a downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling through the heels a few times. Walking your feet towards your hands back to your feet. Softly relax into that fold. Start to bring yourself up to standing. Extend your arms up. And let them gather down at your heart. Bringing your feet real close together. I'm going to sit down into a chair pose. And try to go as close to your knees with your heart as you can. Let out an exhale, and then stand yourself up. We're going to do that again. This time, try to bring your elbows together and go down, bending the knees, bringing the elbows as close down to the knees as you can, and it might be a little bit easier that way. And stand yourself up, and bringing your hands to your heart, bringing your elbows open. Here, we're going to sit back. This time, drop your hips a little further and try to bring just your right elbow down towards your knees. Let the exhale out. Then face the front and stand yourself up. And sit back down into that chair. Dropping your hips a little bit more back, not just down, back. And then maybe your left elbow comes down towards the knees. And face the front and stand yourself up. Shake things a little bit. We're going to do it one more time. Sitting back as deeply into your hips as you can. This time, try to bring the right elbow to touch the outside of the left knee. So just a little more twisted. Make sure the right knee didn't creep forward. Exhale. And then unwind, face forward, stand up. Last one, sitting back into the hips. Bringing your left elbow down as much to the outside of the right knee as you can. Make sure the left knee stayed in line with it. Let the exhale out. And then unwind as you face up and forward. And that's moved around. Take your right foot forward and your left foot back. Finding a warrior one. A strong bend into the front knee. Pressing down into the front foot. Take a nice large circle of the arms all the way down and back. And you might interlace your fingers behind your back, or you could hold onto your hips if that's more comfortable. We'll let the heart stay open. And then move the heart down on the inside of the right thigh. Pull your right hip back. Thinking of that pulling the hip away from the armpit action. Let out an exhale. Then release the hands. Come back up. We'll straighten the leg at the top. Go ahead and swing your arms back. We're going to just reach the hands this time, leaving the heart open, and try to take the heart forward. Trying to bring the heart above the toes, not the heart down to your leg, but the heart above the toes. And then see if you can pull that right hip back a little bit more. Let out the exhale. And then stand yourself up, relax the arms. Turn yourself out to a wide-legged forward fold. Bring your hands down. Relax your breath. Start to stand yourself up. We'll go to the other side, bringing your left foot forward, your right foot back. Starting with arms up. Just getting the shape rooted, planting the feet down, feeling the muscles in your left thigh turned on. And bring a big circle of the arms, reaching all the way back. Interlace your fingers. Maybe you interlace them the weird way. Maybe you hold on to your hips. We'll open the heart and take the heart forward. The inside of the left thigh. Try to relax your neck. Even if you don't drop the head, there's a difference between a crunchy neck and a relaxed neck. Pulling that left hip back. One more exhale. Then release the arms. Take them up. Straighten the left leg this time. Swing the arms back. Reaching them on their own. Leaving the heart open and trying to bring the heart forward above the toes. Out towards the toes. Pulling the left hip back. One more exhale. Then stand up. Turn yourself out to the right. Turn all 10 toes out. And come into a wide-legged forward fold. On this one, we'll add in a twist. Leave your right hand below your face. Bring your left hand to your hips so you feel that they stay flat. And we'll twist with a flat back today. So opening your left shoulder up, then maybe opening your left arm up. Let out an exhale. And then switch sides. The left hand coming down, right hand coming to the back to feel that it stays flat as you twist. And then the right arm maybe lifts. You twist over to the right. One more exhale. And both hands come down, push into the feet, stand yourself up. And with wide legs, turn your toes over towards the right and into the right leg. Take your arms open. And for most of us, when we're vertical like this, when the arms open, they just pretty easily go to 180 degrees and the shoulders are open and relaxed. What seems to happen when we're like sideways or upside down is that we'll open the arm more because the shoulder won't open as much. And then you feel how much more the shoulders. So try taking your arms back behind you, and you feel how the tops of your arm bones kind of jut forward, and it just doesn't feel great. So letting your arms come out to your sides like so. And when we're twisting, like if my body twists like this, then the arms can follow, but I don't want like that to go on, if that makes sense. We're gonna go into a triangle. So go ahead and take your hands to your hips. We'll straighten the right leg. Turn your hips this way a little bit. Now your ribs have to open, twisting in the other direction. There's that way twisted and this way twisted happening. Go ahead and slide your right hand down. And then your shoulder is open as much as the shoulder is going to open. Moving the arm back more is only going to make the shoulder go forward. So maybe instead of shooting for 6 o'clock, you shoot for like 5:57. And then see if you can open the shoulder more. Then maybe the hand creeps more open. What I also find really helpful is like pressing to an imaginary friend's hand with that top hand. One more exhale. And start to stand yourself up. And we'll switch sides. Turning the feet over. Let's do a warrior two for a moment. Maybe even do some weird twisty things. If you followed me in my chat about that on the other side. Feel how arms open, shoulders are open. Easy just to extend the arms right out from the shoulders in this place. Then we'll straighten the leg, bring the hands to the hips. We're going to twist the hips that way. Twist the ribs out towards the wide side. And then as you come down into this triangle, find where the shoulder opens. Open the arm from there. Maybe as you've been here for a while, you're able to open the shoulder more. Maybe pressing into that imaginary friend's hand, you start to feel your pec muscles turning on and opening. One more exhale. And then stand yourself up and bring your feet in underneath you. Do just a little bit of rolling around the ankles, foot bones, try to snap, crackle, pop all over the places. And then we'll do 2 standing balances, one with and one without. Well, one without a twist and then one with a twist. We're going to lift one leg up, lift your arms, push down into your standing foot. And you want to feel very stacked here. When we're parallel like this, it's real easy to feel how much if I lift, I'm going to stay right up above. What tends to happen when we twist is that we go back. So be aware of that tendency. We're going to switch to the other leg. Push the standing foot down. Lift the other leg up. Reach the arms up. Maybe reach them forward a little bit so you really feel how it feels to be stacked and not leaning back. And then relax things down and wiggle things out a little bit. And if I twist around this axis, I will be more steady. If I try to twist back here, then that's like a feat that is not, it's not impossible, but it's not easy at all. So try to find that stacked feeling. We're going to go up, lift one leg, lift the arms, and then try to stay up there as you twist over towards that leg. Part of it is going to be softening your belly. Also part of it is going to be dropping this hip away from the armpit. Can I lift my inner thighs and drop the hip? One more exhale. And then set things down. Give it a wiggle and switch sides. We'll take the other leg up. We'll lift the arms. Okay, I've got that stacked feeling. Try not to let my right hip go up to my right armpit as I twist to the right. Let the exhale soften your belly. Lift those inner thighs. One more exhale. And then bring both feet down. Wiggle things out a little bit. And we're going to grab blocks. Where are they? Okay. Right where I want the dog. Excellent. So you're going to want a block on its tallest setting. And if that feels hard when you get there, then maybe you want to build a fort. Or maybe you stack some things or do whatever it's going to be. Maybe this is that point I said maybe you put your hand on the coffee table. So I've got that there. I've got my block out. I'm going to put my right foot Excuse me. A couple inches away from the block. I'm going to say like the block would be one shoulder, my foot would be the other shoulder width. And then this left foot's going to step back 3 feet. And make sure you're not putting the foot behind your right foot. You want it to be behind the block, so it's wider. And then we're going to bring hands to the hips. I'm going to lift the inner thighs, which is going to pull the hips to face more forward. You have a tendency, like we talked about, to have the right hip going up to the right shoulder, and it does that. That's okay. The work then is to ask it to move back, to get a little more familiar with these things. We're going to come down and bring my block forward a little bit. Bring the left hand down to the block. Feel those inner thighs lift and the right hip peel away from the right shoulder. And right now, my rib cage is mostly facing at the floor. As I twist it over towards the right, I don't really feel like I'm fully 90 degrees twisted over towards the right. When I check my shoulder, it's definitely not at 6 o'clock to the other shoulder. So if I were to take my arm up here, it's just creating tension on the shoulder, and there is no strength in my arm whatsoever. If I were pressing into a friend's hand, they might tear mine off. So I'm going to bring the arm forward. Now my shoulder feels so much more relaxed, and I'm able to now I'm like almost at 6 o'clock, and I was not there before. Do you need to get to 6 o'clock? No. And that might be more accessible if you're not over twisting to start off with. Let an exhale out. Oh, come out of the twist. Stand yourself up. Whee! And then we'll switch sides. So I'm going to have a block right there where my right foot was. I'm going to bring the left foot out about shoulder width. Excuse you. Quiet. Make sure the right foot is back behind the block, not behind the left foot. Quiet. Quiet. Hands to your hips. Lift the inner thighs. Lift your heart. We're going to bring the heart forward. Right hand down to a block. Feel that lift of your inner thighs and the pull of the left hip back, and start to turn your ribs over towards the left side. Check in. Am I still lifting my inner thighs? Am I still pulling that left hip back? Where is my shoulder? Is it at 6 o'clock? No. Okay. Put it where that goes. And then the shoulder start to open more as you've spent some time here. Then the arm goes higher, or it doesn't. One more exhale. And relax that twist. Go ahead and stand yourself up. Bring the feet in underneath you. Set block. Maybe you put one block in front of you, because we'll do a little fold. You might like that. We'll take an inhale and lift the arms up. And as you exhale, fold down. Bring hands down to the floor or down to a block. Maybe you bend your knees a whole bunch. And you can still leave the legs bent a little bit, but the left leg is going to be bent a lot more. And start to twist open towards the right. You can even push outwards into your right hip now. Opening that outer hip. And switching to the other side, taking the right hand down, bending the right leg more as the left leg lifts, or left arm, sorry. Left arm, put both feet on the floor. One more exhale. And then the hands come down. We're going to lift the heart up and forward a little bit. And then plant the hands down on the floor. Walk your hands back. Find a downward dog. So the hips lifting up and away from the ribs. Lifting the tailbone. And then gently lower your knees down. Sit back again into a child's pose. Welcome to do pigeon on your back with an ankle on the knee if you prefer. But for now, we're going to try to come forward into a pigeon facing forward. Your right knee comes up to your right hand, And then make sure your left foot turns up a little bit. So your knee faces out at the corner and not directly in front of you. Your foot is not down below your pelvis. It's a little in front of it. Wiggle the left foot back. If you want to bring a block in underneath the hip, so you feel like you have some support, you might do that. I like a block underneath my ribs to help support my chest so my arms don't feel like they're doing a push-up for a while. And like I said, other option is ankle on the knee, like so. Very, very similar external rotation work in the hip. Deep breath. And start to come back up to your hands. If you lower down, we'll pull the right leg back and set up on the left side. So the left knee comes up by your left hand. You're going to take the foot, turn it forward. Not the shin parallel to the front of your mat. Your knee and your hip don't want to do that. But as far forward as feels really comfortable to you. And then wiggle your right foot back. Put a block wherever you feel like it is helpful to you. Life is hard enough as it is. If nobody's gonna, if you need help, you can give it to yourself first. Maybe you also take this opportunity to kind of check in, say, how am I feeling in my body? What do I need? Is this honoring what I need out of practice? How is what I need changed as we've done all these things? Exhale. And coming back up to your hands, we're going to just sit over and swing the legs out in front of us, starting with right leg extended, left knee bent. So if I lift the toes, it's going to get my spine really lifted and really turned on. If I want to get into a fold easily, I want to relax my toes. So it's going to inspire the spine to relax. I might have an easier time folding forward. Might even bend your leg as you come out towards that right leg. Lift yourself up and switch legs, moving out towards the left leg. Relax your foot. Maybe there's a bend into the knees. Breath out. And then moving both legs forward. Relaxing toes. Maybe even on this one you feel the need to bend your knees more. What can you do to soften? can you do to let go? Where are you tense that you don't need to be? Let out another exhale. And then coming back up, and we'll start to lay down on the back. Starting with feet a little bit wider than hips, let the knees knock towards each other. Placing a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly. And leaving the feet wide, separate the knees now so legs are not touching. Stretch the arms back. Maybe you grab onto opposite elbows. And then take both knees over towards the right side. Try to soften the space between your arm bones and your neck bones. Maybe there's a little sensation like the left knee is trying to reach out and away from you. One more exhale. Start to move over to the other side with your knees, so legs are still separate. It's the front of that right thigh we're feeling the stretch through, maybe even a little feeling like the knee is trying to stretch away from you. Try to soften the insides of your shoulders, the insides of your armpits. And bringing your knees back up to the center. Bring your feet in close together now. Let the knees go out wide. Separate your arms out into a cactus shape. Feeling the movement of your breath, opening your heart, the knees dropping to lengthen the inner thighs. Bring the knees back up and together. Cross your left thigh all the way over your right thigh. Scoot your hips over towards the left and let the legs drop over towards the right. You might stop where the foot catches you like I have. You might let the legs drop all the way over. Unwind the legs, let them drop still over towards the right. What you might do is extend the left foot, the top leg, and maybe you reach out and hold it with your right hand. One more exhale. And collect the legs back and bring the hips back to the center. Taking your right thigh and crossing it over your left thigh, move the hips to the right, the legs drop over towards the left. Unwinding the left leg, letting both knees drop over to the left. Maybe you extend that right leg, the top leg. Maybe you catch it with the left hand. If you don't like that, then bend your knees back in again. Let that adaptation go. Sticking with what suits you. taking time to ask yourself, do I really need this? Does this suit what I need out of my practice? Why am I doing this thing that keeps me from breathing and makes me hate her? Let out another exhale. Bending back into the knees, returning to center. Bringing your knees up by your armpits, reaching up to grab for your feet. Maybe it's the ankles or the shins instead that you hold. As you take some shifting side to side and happy baby. Letting your hips relax down as much as your body has space for. And then releasing your feet down to the floor. Slide your legs out long, bring your arms down by your sides, maybe snuggle the shoulders underneath your heart, that the heart might rest a little more open, a little more easily. If you need to change this shape, if you need to bend your knees, maybe lay on your side or take a seat instead, you might choose to do that. We'll spend a few minutes resting in Shavasana before we wrap up practice together. into your breath, coming back to your body, taking a moment to check in, maybe asking yourself a couple more questions about how you're feeling, about what might have changed throughout practice. Starting to roll yourself over to one side, taking a moment of gratitude for being able to come and share this time together. And coming up when you're ready into your own version of a comfy seat. Still practice releasing one more Om together. Bowing down to honor the love, the light, and the darkness within each of our hearts. Thank you so much.